The King's Avatar, Chapter 1392 Counterattack. Audio source, wusharworldaudiobook.com. Chapter 1392, Counterattack. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Neither side has made any moves. Pan Lin shouted. This would usually be boring, but Pan Lin was excited. He was looking forward to what level 80 equipment could do. Li Yibo found Lord Grimm's info and compared the stats before and after. The four main stats were clearly displayed, so Li Yibo hoped to quickly find something he could analyze. Lord Grimm is moving deep. Could he be looking for better angle of attack? But the area he's in should be within Song Xiao's line of sight. There doesn't seem to be any location which he can mount a sneak attack from though. Is he going to venture even farther in? Pan Lin continued to comment. Usually, if it wasn't a deciding moment, these remarks would rarely be said. However, right now, it looked as if Pan Lin would even analyze Lord Grimm's thumb movements. Just as I thought. Lord Grimm is going even deeper. He's planning on making a big turn. Song Xiao has also moved. Receding Tides is moving forward. Song Xiao truly deserves to be called Mr. Clutch. He has exceptional mental fortitude. It's quite bold of him to push forward. Lord Grimm's already moved away though, so cutting in won't be dangerous. In fact, he might be able to see through Yi Zhu's intentions this way. What? Pan Lin muttered to himself. For a moment, he wasn't able to continue. He had been too ambitious in guessing Yi Zhu's intentions. Yi Zhu didn't move according to his analysis and instead moved in the opposite direction of what he had expected. This surprise caught him at a loss for words. However, with Song Xiao's receding tides moving away, there were now no traces of Lord Grimm. He calculated everything that precisely. Pan Lin was shocked. Although it was just small play, being able to read someone so thoroughly was truly frightening. At this moment, the broadcast cut into a slow-motion replay. Oh, Pan Lin suddenly understood. It wasn't a calculation. There had been an angle from Lord Grimm's previous position where he could see receding tides. As expected of Yi Zhu, Li Yibo returned to the match. He's extremely proficient at this map, a trait very few young players possess. Young players lack an attention to detail towards maps, which is a huge advantage for the home team. Happy's Qiao Yivan is quite good in this area too. Pan Lin mentioned his name. He's got a good mentor beside him. Li Yibo sighed. Pan Lin subconsciously thought of other players on Happy who weren't particularly strong in this area. For example, Steamed Bun and Tang Ro weren't thorough enough in their utilization of the map. Saying all that would tear Li Yibo's praise apart though, so he restrained himself. Song Xiao didn't see Lord Grimm, so instead of having receding tides continue moving straight, he circled around in reverse. Song Xiao's very experienced, Li Yibo said. Even though he doesn't see his opponent, from the distance he's traveled, he has a rough idea of Lord Grimm's possible positions. If Lord Grimm wasn't in those areas, he wouldn't have been able to disappear from the map so quickly. Oh, the two sides are. Quote. On the bottom right corner of the broadcast, a bird's-eye view of the map appeared. The positions of the two characters were represented as dots as they moved. The camera constantly switched back and forth between the two characters, giving a feeling of tension. Closer, closer. The two sides neared each other. At the next intersection, the two would meet. Everyone held their breaths. Suddenly, Lord Grimm jumped. The myriad manifestations umbrellas ninjutsu stuck into the wall. The wall that originally couldn't be jumped was instantly climbed through the usage of the ninja class's special skill. That's cheating. That was what Pan Lin wanted to shout. The surprises from the unspecialized still gave off a feeling of cheating even after an entire regular season. Everyone's thought process was different from Yi Shu's. They need to spend a certain amount of time and effort to understand what an unspecialized could do. As a result, when they saw Yi Shu's Lord Grimm in a match, they would constantly think, "Why didn't I think of that?" The cameraman was also in a fluster. He wasn't sure which first-person perspective he should look at to best display this suddenness. Should he use Yi Shu's hunter-like view to show his sharpness? Or should he use Song Seo's confused prey view to show helplessness? There was no time to think carefully. The camera instinctively shifted to a viewpoint. Song Seo's perspective. Receding tides was moving. Then, a grenade suddenly appeared from above and dropped in front of him. "Too awesome!" the cameraman cried out in his heart. Song Seo's perspective had given this grenade highlight clip. From above to below, the image of the grenade grew larger as receding tides moved. Everything was quiet as the grenade fell. It was as if the scene was static. If only it could be in slow-mo. The cameraman was still obsessed with the shot. Bang! The grenade exploded, and Lord Grimm dropped from the sky. Roll, roll, roll. Song Seo's receding tides rolled backwards 3 times and then shot a chi bullet. The spectators all felt frightened seeing this sudden ambush. However, Song Seo himself was as calm as ever. He reacted promptly and appropriately. 3 rolls backwards pulled the distance between receding tides and Lord Grimm, and then a chi bullet at the slightest opening. "Beautiful!" Pan Lin cried out. Yi Shu's ambush had been beautiful, but Song Seo's response was too. This level of play was truly deserving of the playoffs. It was just the first exchange, and Pan Lin felt like it was worthy of the ticket price. Unfortunately, he didn't have time to praise this moment because there was still a battle underway. The chi bullet flew out. Lord Grimm didn't dodge it though, and tanked the hit to stay on the offense. Even if it's the group arena, sometimes it's necessary to show a tough display. Li Yibo praised. By tanking the hit, Yi Shu maintained the initiative. But because of Song Seo's calm response, the ambush didn't deal too much harm. The battle had suddenly shifted to a direct confrontation. An ambush doesn't seem to be a good choice against a player with strong mental fortitude like Song Seo, Pan Lin said. Yi Shu was at least able to gain the initiative through it, Li Yibo said. No one would have any objections to that. In a direction confrontation, Lord Grimm would be attacking 70% of the time. But it can't be said that Song Seo is at a disadvantage. Pan Lin said. Song Seo was 70% defending, 30% attacking. Yes, he seemed to be a bit on the back foot, but his rhythm was steady. Such a steady defensive counter-attack playstyle is Blue Rain's style. Li Yibo said. The healer character exemplified the team's style to a certain extent. Of the 8 playoff teams, Samsara, Tyranny, Happy, Thunderclap, and 100 Blossoms all had clerics as their healers, a show of their overall offense-oriented playstyles. As for the other 3 teams, Tiny Herb had 2 healers, an exception. Then, there was Blue Rain and 301, who had paladins as healers. And these 2 teams lean towards defense. Especially Blue Rain. WashOurWorldAudio.com. Team Blue Rain was a paragon of a defensive counter-attack team. Defend while waiting for mistakes and capitalizing on them. This was their team's playstyle, which eventually became many of the styles of the players on the team. To be a part of Blue Rain's main roster, not having beautiful defensive play was extremely difficult. As a defense-heavy style, being on the passive side was normal because you were intentionally giving the opponents space. As a result, while it looked like Song Seo's offense looked rather weak, Pan Lin and Lee Yibo didn't think it was mark of him being at a disadvantage. It was just how he played. So they waited. Defensive counterattack. The high point was the counterattack. Opportunities were fleeting. Once grasped, it couldn't be let go. That instant required explosiveness and efficiency. For a defensive counterattack play style, defense need to be steady and slow, while the counterattack need to be fast and fierce. Everyone stared at the screen. The happy fans listening to the commentators were held in suspense. Song Seo wasn't a standout existence during the regular season. His numbers were so-so, but everyone knew he was formidable during playoffs. He wasn't an easy opponent. As a result, even if Yi Xiu was the king of duels in the regular season, everyone still felt worried. Straight punch, knockback, grenade, shin cut, double stab, ghost/floating bullet. Skills after skill was released through Lord Grimm's ever-changing myriad manifestations umbrella. His speed was so fast that the viewers couldn't even clearly distinguish what forms his umbrella were in. A skill came out, and then the umbrella transformed into a different form. Without a pause. The myriad manifestations umbrella never stayed in the same form for more than 2 seconds. Bang! A falling flower palm suddenly struck receding tides, sending him flying backwards. Ah! Pan Lin cried out in astonishment. The equilibrium had been broken by the palm. Yi Xiu's broken through Song Seo's defense. Lee Yibo shouted. The myriad manifestations umbrella continued transforming non-stop, but this time, the rate of hits landing on receding tides had increased. In the end, Song Seo isn't able to hold on. Let's see if he can turn this around, Pan Lin said. They still had confidence in Song Seo because no matter what, this player wouldn't panic. He had the mental fortitude necessary to make a comeback. So they waited. Before, it had been a defensive counterattack style. Now, it had turned into a get-beat-up counterattack style. But Lord Grimm's offense continued to pour out relentlessly. As a result, receding tides took even heavier beatings. The expressions of those waiting for a reversal gradually started to turn strange. Is he going to get taken out in one combo? Pan Lin started questioning. Their hopes for Song Seo seemed to have disappeared. Ambush to start, suppression with attacks, offense breaking defense, one combo kill. Lee Yibo summed up the battle with 12 words. The so-called defensive counterattack playstyle. So we've seen the defense and the get beat up part, where's the counterattack? Is he not able to find an opening to counterattack? Pan Lin was still thinking about it. End chapter. The King's Avatar, Chapter 1393. Eyes are blurry. Audio source, wuxia-world-audiobook.com. Chapter 1393, Eyes are blurry. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Everyone held hope for Song Seo because he never panicked, because he always performed spectacularly during critical moments. But this time, ever since Yi Xiu's Lord Grimm pierced through his defenses, Song Seo failed to successfully get them back up. If it was said that he had deliberately left openings in his defense looking for a counterattack, then right now he was purely focused on resisting his opponent's attacks. He was playing on the defensive to survive. However, even in this sort of situation, players proficient in defense could still find ways to break through the opponent's offense and seize opportunities to turn the tides. Song Seo was a calm player and was also exceptional at defense. Which was why, unlike other players who were overwhelmed by the unspecialized blitz during the regular season, people felt like he definitely wouldn't lose like them. But from the looks of it, they shouldn't hold any such expectations. Song Seo was being suppressed just like every other player. Receding Tides was in dire straits. As for Song Seo's current state of mind, no one knew. He only has 10% health left. Pan Lin hadn't given up. He hoped to see a sudden reversal at the final moment. But then he looked at Lord Grimm's health and despaired. 73%. Lord Grimm still had so much health left. Song Seo's playoffs opening was starting off unlucky. As soon as he left the door, he met a brick wall. It's not going to just end like this, is it? Some were muttering in their hearts. In particular, the Team Blue Rain fans had confidence in Song Seo, because Song Seo never let them down at the crucial moments. But there's a first time for everything. In the end, Song Seo had his first failed performance when it mattered. Loss. 70%. Lord Grimm's health halted here when Song Seo's receding tides fell. The stadium applauded to Yizhu, of course. Some brave young fellows were even so bold to shout, 1v5. Song Seo walked out from the player booth on stage. The broadcast zoomed in on his face, but there didn't really seem to be any particular expression on it. Song Seo's performance today is a bit disappointing. Pan Lin sighed. Or perhaps our expectations for him were too high. Li Yibo said. Song Seo's technical skill isn't considered anything outstanding, but rather it's because of his exceptional mental fortitude that he's able to perform beyond his usual skill level during key moments like the playoffs. On the other hand, other players get nervous and might become too cautious, leading to a decrease in their level of play. One side plays worse, while the other side plays better. As a result, it's not hard to understand why Song Seo always seems to play spectacularly in the playoffs. Unfortunately, his opponent this time was. Saying Yizhu gets nervous in a playoffs match sounds more like a joke, doesn't it? Li Yibo said. Yeah, Pan Lin confirmed. So Yizhu dominating him isn't anything unexpected. If Song Seo's opponent had been a happy rookie, perhaps things may have turned out differently, Li Yibo said. It looks like Blue Rain didn't expect Yizhu to appear first even in the playoffs. Their original idea was probably not to have Song Seo encounter Yizhu, Pan Lin analyzed. Yeah, let's see who Blue Rain's second player is. Li Yibo started paying attention to the big screen. The playoffs were set up to always be suspenseful. It wasn't like the regular season's group arena, where the two teams' line-up would be listed all at once before the three players went onto the stage. The playoffs' five-player group arena was done one at a time. Before it was time, no one besides the players' respective team would know who would be up next. Lu Hanwen, Blade Master, Flowing Cloud. Finally, the big screen displayed the name of Team Blue Rain's next player. This. Li Yibo wanted to say something but then hesitated. Lu Hanwen was still the Alliance's youngest player, but he had already been a part of the main roster for 2 years, entering All-Stars both years. In his first season at just 14 years of age, it was because of his mistake that the team lost. Team Blue Rain's method of trying Lu Hanwen was too unrestrained. Nowadays, no team would throw their rookie out onto the battlefield to play around and figure out things for himself. Everyone trained their rookies methodically step by step. Quite a few people expressed their worries for how Team Blue Rain was treating Lu Hanwen. When rookies first entered the Alliance, they need time to get used to the intensity and pace of the professional circle. Many talented youths were able to immediately adapt and shine as soon as they stepped onto the stage, with all sorts of awards suddenly being thrown at them. But what rookies never knew was that what they were facing wasn't the true professional scene. Because they were a newcomer, neither they nor the pro scene was familiar with them. And once they started shining, the pro scene would notice them, and the other opposing teams would make preparations to target them. It was only at this moment would the rookies truly be facing the pro scene. Teams would use anything at their disposal for the sake of winning. Countless rookies crashed into this iron wall, leaving their heads broken and bloody. And this was the so-called Rookies Block. Many of the current gods had hit this wall before. They had broken past it, but numerous talented players disappeared into nothing after hitting this wall. The more massive the blow, the greater the pressure, the more unfavorable it was for the rookies' growth. In many people's eyes, Blue Rain's Lu Hanwen had fallen into such a predicament. And to no one's surprise, once the team started familiarizing themselves with him, his performance dwindled. However, Lu Hanwen never fell into low spirits. He continued to work hard. It was as if he had just entered the alliance. He continued to preserve that endless reserve of energy. Dwindling performance. A mistake dragging down the rest of the team. Lu Hanwen had experienced and suffered through them all. However, his enthusiasm never wavered. He was true youth filled with boundless spirit. His heart was filled with sunshine without a single bit of haze. Blue Rain had used the method most suitable for him. He didn't need to be protected. He could face setbacks and crash to the ground heavily, but he would always quickly climb back up, stumbling until the day he flew. Coach Lee, what your thoughts on this matchup? Pan Lin saw that Li Yibo seemed to want to say something and switched the conversation to him. Yishu is experienced. Lu Hanwen is driven. It's going to be an exciting match. Li Yibo smiled. Pan Lin guessed that this wasn't what Li Yibo had originally wanted to say, but it wouldn't be good to press him on air. WuxRWorldAudio.com. He could only continue with a brief introduction of Lu Hanwen's situation as he watched the young player get up from his seat and head to the stage. This Lu Hanwen has a big heart, Pan Lin suddenly said, when he saw Lu Hanwen cross Song Seo. Yes, compared to skill, the heart is much more difficult to train. Lu Hanwen is only a young kid. How rare, Li Yibo said. Blue Rain's two players are talking with each other. Is Song Seo passing on the experience he had just gained from this match? Pan Lin guessed. Blue Rain should have that knowledge way beforehand. Li Yibo remarked. After all, Blue Rain and Happy had fought against each other twice in the regular season already. Perhaps a new discovery. Quote, as Pan Lin said these words, Song Seo and Lu Hanwen parted. Lu Hanwen went onto the stage while Song Seo returned to his seat. Is he really hard to fight? Huang Shaoshan asked. My eyes went blurry. Song Seo got to his seat and shut his eyes. Blurry? That umbrella changes forms again and again and again non-stop. I really can't bear it, Song Seo said. Everyone in Blue Rain looked at each other. When they prepped for this match against Happy, Yishu and his unspecialized were obviously a huge focus, but they hadn't prepared for something like this. What is this? Blue Rain's Spitfire, Zhang Xuan, sighed. Spitfires could be considered as the best at interfering with the opponent's line of sight. Others might not be able to reach the apex and emulate Zhang Jialei's 100 Blossoms style, but it had become a commonly utilized Spitfire technique. Yishu's technique was different from theirs though. They simply used visual effects, but Yishu directly made visual attacks. Making someone's eyes go blurry, that was the effective flash bullet. What did you say to Lu Hanwen? Yu Weizhou asked Song Seo. I told him to try to cut in from the side or circle to the back. Try not to fight face to face. Doing so is truly too disgusting. Truly. You guys should try when you have the chance. Song Seo said. Yu Wenzhou didn't ask any further and watched as Lu Hanwen went into Blue Rain's player booth. Then, the characters loaded in. Flowing Cloud and Lord Grim entered the map. Lu Hanwen obviously wasn't the type to go around in circles. Flowing Cloud went directly towards the center. As for Yishu, He once again took a roundabout path, a different route than last time too. Previously, he had Lord Grim go to the left, this time he changed it to the right. Playing dirty again. Huang Shaoshan ground his teeth. He was a bit nervous too. He knew of Lu Hanwen's style better than others. Lu Hanwen wasn't good at dealing with dirty play. An ordinary level of dirty wasn't a big deal, but Yi Shu's dirtiness, on the other hand, was on another level. Lu Hanwen is taking the straight path, while Yi Shu is taking a roundabout route. Pan Lin explained the opening. Yi Shu seems to be taking it at a medium pace. It doesn't seem like he plans on rushing for a position. Li Yiba commented on Lord Grim's movement speed. Where is he planning to mount a sneak attack from this time? Pan Lin said. Yi Shu's strategic movement wasn't completely dirty. He didn't hide, attack, retreat, harass, and annoy his opponents to death. Most of the time, he would launch a sneak attack to gain the initiative and then keep fighting face to face. However, this was the group arena. The less health loss the better. Under these circumstances, it wasn't impossible that he would play completely dirty. The glory textbook. No one believed that there was no style Yi Shu could not play. Would he play dirty? Everyone stared at Lord Grim's unhurried movement and thought quietly to themselves. End chapter. The King's Avatar. Chapter 1394. Ineffective to effective. Audio source: wushaworldaudiobook.com. Chapter 1394. Ineffective to effective. Translator: Nomyami. Editor: Nomyami. Lord Grim and Flowing Cloud took their own paths. Neither side was facing each other, but from the omniscient view of the spectators, it could be seen that the two characters were closing in on each other, even if there was stuff between them. Lu Hanwen's Flowing Cloud moved in a straight line and reached the center of the map first. Seeing that his opponent wasn't within sight, he didn't hesitate and continued charging forward. Wow, Lu Hanwen is very decisive. Pan Lin was pleasantly surprised. Oh, this way, Yi Shu won't be able to find a place in the center of the map to mount a sneak attack. Lu Hanwen's Flowing Cloud has already left. Li Yibo said. Is this the advice Song Xiao gave? It's simple, but effective. Pan Lin said. With just these few words, Flowing Cloud had already crossed through the center of the map towards Lord Grim's spawn point. But what's Lu Hanwen going to do next? He's not hoping that he'll find Lord Grim at the spawn point, is he? Pan Lin questioned. Lu Hanwen should have a better understanding of this map from the first fight. I'm guessing his plans are based on this understanding. Or perhaps, someone gave him some pointers. Li Yibo said. Song Xiao. Pan Lin looked at Flowing Cloud's movements. Song Xiao may have played on this map, but his understanding might not be better than the players off stage. Li Yibo said. Yu Wenzu. Pan Lin realized. Why would the off-stage players have an easier time grasping the map? Because they had spectator control, allowing them to get a full view of the map or cut to different perspectives. This control gave them a much more complete picture than what the broadcast could give. Song Xiao had never traversed to Lord Grim's spawn point, however, those off-stage could see the terrain Lord Grim passed through and his spawn point via their spectator view. Team Blue Rain obviously wasn't very familiar with the map chosen by Team Happy. But a tactics expert like Yu Wenzu could easily find numerous strategical points from the map in this amount of time. What areas should be avoided? What areas could be utilized? The following Blue Rain players could already start reflecting on how to take advantage of these points. Perhaps Lu Hanwen had been given a suggestion by Yu Wenzu. Let's see what he'll do. Pan Lin suddenly became excited. But at this moment, Lord Grim suddenly changed directions. Because he was taking a roundabout route, Lord Grim hadn't reached the center yet. Even so, he suddenly turned left, making his way towards the path to the center. "This is..." Pan Lin yelled. For a moment, he couldn't figure out Lord Grimm's goal. Li Yibo was also thinking about Lord Grimm's decision. After a while, it looked like he was planning on charging out from the right flank to meet with Flowing Cloud. "No way! Switch to Yi Xiu's perspective!" Li Yibo shouted. The camera immediately switched views. The scenery was rapidly changing. Lord Grimm was moving very fast, traversing through the map with great familiarity. Not far from his position, Lu Hanwen's Flowing Cloud was following the main central path towards the south. Slide kick. Lord Grimm suddenly did a slide kick, not as an attack but as a way to move at a low height. He slid across the ground through the gaps of several thick tree branches. Jumping over the tree branches or circling around them were possible options, but Yi Xiu choosing to use a skill instead wasn't just to look cool. Lord Grimm and Flowing Cloud were very close. Everyone felt like the two would soon be within each other's sights. But after the slide kick, Lord Grimm immediately hugged the ground. The camera reacted quickly this time. With a snap, the perspectives of both players were shown simultaneously on the big screen. Lord Grimm hugged the ground as he moved, while from Lu Hanwen's perspective, there was no one in sight. "He's hidden himself." Everyone gasped in surprise. Then, they saw Lord Grimm roll, without standing up, to behind a shrub. Nothing abnormal could be seen from Lu Hanwen's perspective, but Yi Xiu's Lord Grimm had quietly approached him. There was no time to reflect on this scene though. Lu Hanwen's Flowing Cloud continued to dash forward. From the bush Lord Grimm was hiding behind, the sound of footsteps could be heard. Everyone in the stadium could hear it, let alone Yi Xiu. Just as Flowing Cloud passed by the bush, Lord Grimm jumped out. Lord Grimm hopped over the bush instead of leaping through so that he wouldn't be heard. The Myriad Manifestations umbrella also jumped out, transforming into a spear. Dragon Tooth. A back attack against Flowing Cloud. Whoosh. Tap. Two sounds rang out simultaneously. The sound effect that came with Dragon Tooth could not be eliminated by player control, but when Lord Grimm let out the Dragon Tooth, the sound effect coincided with the Flowing Cloud's footstep. Was it a coincidence? Or was it skill? There was no time to analyze it. The two sounds were different, neither was covering up the other. But because of the mix between footstep and skill, Lu Hanwen reacted a beat slow. Pooh. This sound was incomparably clear. Flowing Cloud's back had been pierced through by Lord Grimm's spear. Dragon Tooth inflicted a stun. A follow-up combo didn't need to be said. After being struck in the back, Flowing Cloud's health rapidly fell. Lord Grimm's attack power must have been improved. Li Yibo didn't make this comment for nothing. Even though he couldn't see the exact numbers, he was confident in what he had said. Pan Lin didn't follow up. Li Yibo had said these words before. Why would you repeat yourself? His equipment are all level 80. It would be weird if his attack power didn't improve. Can't you say anything meaningful? Lu Hanwen's on the defensive. Pan Lin described the state of the fight. Who would have thought Yi Xiu would do something like that? Could he have seen through Lu Hanwen's intentions? Li Yibo said. The two sides had started fighting. There was no way to switch perspectives to analyze Yi Xiu's previous string of movements. It's not going to be a one-hit to death, is it? The combo had only just started, and Pan Lin was worried. Although Lu Hanwen had been voted into All-Stars twice, which made it seem like he was better than Song Xiao in terms of emotional control in a match, how could this young player compare to Song Xiao, the player nicknamed Mr. Clutch? Even Song Xiao had been crushed in a direct confrontation by Yi Xiu. Now that Lu Hanwen had been attacked from the back, turning the situation around would probably be even more difficult. No. In the blink of an eye, 15% of Flowing Cloud's health had been taken away. A back attack increased the damage by a considerable 20%. Assassins had a class advancement skill. WuxaWorldAudio.com. Art of Assassination buff, which buffed that number to 40%. Unfortunately, class advancement and awakening skills could not be attached to a weapon. I hope Lu Hanwen can stay calm and search for opportunities to fight back. Pan Lin continued. Fast. This was the impression Lu Hanwen got from the fight. From the first dragon tooth to now, he had lost 15% of his health. The unspecialized didn't have class proficiency or armor proficiency, so their stats couldn't compare to real class. Plus, their skills were low-level, so their damage wasn't high. That was the objective opinion towards the unspecialized. But Flowing Cloud had just lost 15% of his health in an instant, low damage. Then use speed to make up for it. Lu Hanwen could tell you how closely linked the attacks though. He didn't know how an unspecialized could attack so fast. Did his attacks not have start-up and end animations? Was it his myriad manifestations umbrella was transforming again and again? Lu Hanwen couldn't tell. He was trying his hardest, but Yi Xiu was more experienced. He kept adjusting his position, so Lord Grimm was behind him. It wasn't Vanishing Step, but it was the same reason. But in this case, he didn't need to be troubled over his eyes blurring. This energetic and hopeful youth could still find good points in this situation. Even if these good points had no value, it still made him feel gratified. Now, he need to find a way to break out of this predicament. Lu Hanwen didn't panic, although he wasn't that calm either. He had courage though, the courage to try. Failure after failure, he would scratch his head and then try again. Bang bang bang. Flowing Cloud was using his sword too, but some of his attacks looked pretty poor from the lens of an expert. It was as if he was panicking without any thought behind his attacks, hoping to luck his way out. This sort of recklessness probably isn't going to work on Yi Xiu, is it? Li Yibo said. You can do it. Many people were cheering for Lu Hanwen, especially Blue Rain's fans. Although it looked like he was just randomly doing things, it wasn't necessarily that there was no thought behind his attacks. Lu Hanwen was at the very least never doing the same thing twice. In other words, what looked brainless wasn't actually brainless. He was testing different methods. He couldn't think of any certain success methods, so he could only gamble on the probable ones. If one didn't work, he would try again. If that didn't work, then a different one. Another failure. Again. Bang 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 bang. The brainless Lu Hanwen continued to struggle, swordlight dancing randomly. Good child. Huang Shaoshan praised. Yu Wenzu chuckled, but didn't say anything. The percepting Blue Rain players could see it. Lu Hanwen's attempts might have carried a lot of energy, but none of them succeed. However, his constant attempts may have failed again and again, but they were taking a toll on Yi Xiu. And this effect, through Lu Hanwen's brave tries, was slowly accumulating and expanding. Yi Xiu was trying hard to get rid of it, but Huang Shaoshan and Yu Wenzu could see that he wasn't able to completely eliminate it. Having Lord Grimm keep up to this insanely fast defense was extremely difficult in itself. It required extraordinary precision. Lu Hanwen's ineffective methods were converging into a whole, transforming into what could be an effective solution. End chapter.